They say the eyes never lie. But what if I told you that hidden in the small movements of a woman's eyes are signals she does not speak aloud, signals that can reveal when she feels desire for a man? Desire is often silent. It does not always show in words or actions. Instead, it hides in glances, in the way pupils change, in how long her gaze lingers, and even in how quickly she looks away. The dark side. These signs are not always obvious. You could stand in front of a woman and miss them completely, or worse, you could see them but misread them. That is why knowing the truth matters. Because attraction is never random, it follows patterns, and the eyes are the first place those patterns appear. What if a single glance could tell you more about what she feels than any sentence ever could? And what if ignoring those signals meant losing the chance to know the truth before it slips away? This is not about guessing. It is about learning how the human mind exposes itself in ways words cannot hide. Before we go deeper, make sure you stay with me until the end, because by the final chapter, you will know how to tell the difference between genuine desire and illusion, without falling into obsession or paranoia. The psychology of the eyes. The eyes are often called the windows to the soul, but that phrase is not just poetic. In psychology, the eyes are seen as a direct gateway to the brain's most primitive responses. Long before words were invented, humans used eye contact to communicate danger, safety, and desire. When a woman looks at a man, her eyes may reveal signals her conscious mind tries to hide. Why the eyes? Because unlike words, they are hard to control. A smile can be faked, a sentence can be rehearsed, but pupil movement, blink rate, and micro-glances are almost impossible to fully disguise. These reactions come straight from the nervous system, which means they happen before she even realizes what her body is doing. Think about this: when a woman feels drawn to someone, her brain triggers small but powerful changes in her eyes. Her pupils widen to let in more light, her blink rate slows down, and her gaze lingers a fraction longer. None of these things are decisions, they are involuntary responses linked to emotion and attraction. In other words, the eyes betray what the mouth keeps silent. Science has shown that eye contact activates the same reward pathways in the brain that light up during moments of pleasure. That is why a lingering gaze can feel electric, even unsettling. A woman who desires a man may not say it aloud, but her brain is releasing signals through her eyes, tiny sparks that speak louder than her voice ever could. But here is the darker side: the same eyes that reveal attraction can also create confusion. Not every long glance means desire. Sometimes, it is curiosity. Sometimes, it is politeness. Sometimes, it is calculation. The challenge is not just in noticing the signs, but in separating truth from illusion. Many men misread a casual look as interest, only to discover later that it was nothing but a trick of the moment. Still, when the signs are genuine, they are powerful. Eye contact is intimate, almost dangerous. In crowded rooms, a single look can create a silent world shared only by two people. It can trigger a chain of thoughts, emotions, and fantasies, all without a word being spoken. That is why psychologists call the eyes a social magnet. They pull us in before we even understand what is happening. So when a woman's eyes lock onto a man and hold that gaze just a little too long, she may be revealing more than she intends. The question is, will the man see it, or let it slip away? Lingering eye contact. There is a difference between looking and lingering. A quick glance is normal. People scan faces all the time without meaning anything by it. But when the eyes hold, even for just a second longer than usual, something else is happening. That extra second is where psychology takes over. Lingering eye contact works like a silent test. It is her way of creating a spark without words, of hinting at attraction while maintaining deniability. If she holds her gaze, she is letting him feel a subtle weight, a quiet pull. For the man, it can feel unsettling, like being seen in a way that cuts deeper than ordinary attention. Why does it feel so powerful? Neuroscience gives us the answer. When two people lock eyes, their brains sync for a moment. Heart rate rises, dopamine levels shift, and time feels distorted. Even a 3-second stare can create tension strong enough to be mistaken for destiny. The brain does not process it as just a look, it interprets it as intimacy. But there is a darker layer. Lingering eye contact can be used both honestly and deceptively. A woman who desires a man might hold her gaze without realizing it, her pupils betraying her interest. Yet, another woman might linger for control, knowing exactly how powerful a look can be. In psychology, this is called nonverbal dominance. She is testing whether the man will break the gaze first. If he does, she feels the power. If he holds, the game deepens. Consider this scenario: two strangers at a cafe. She looks up from her phone and meets his eyes. He expects her to glance away, but she does not. Instead, she holds it. A second passes, then two. In that moment, the rest of the cafe disappears. The man's brain is flooded with adrenaline, confusion, and curiosity. Is she attracted? Is she challenging him? Or is it both? That uncertainty is what makes lingering eye contact so psychologically dangerous. Cultural studies also reveal that lingering stares are universal triggers. Across societies, holding eye contact is linked with intimacy, tension, and sometimes even aggression. In attraction, it dances on the fine line between vulnerability and control. Too brief, and it means nothing. Too long, and it becomes overwhelming, almost unbearable. The exact length is everything. Here is the unsettling truth. Most men cannot tell the difference between real desire and strategic eye contact. A woman may linger because she likes him, or because she enjoys the reaction her gaze creates. Both feel the same to the man. Both leave him hooked. That is why eye contact has been called the most dangerous form of silent communication. So, the next time her eyes do not let go, the man must ask himself, is this a confession of hidden attraction, or the beginning of a silent game? The subtle dance of pupils. The eyes may lie, but the pupils rarely do. Unlike a smile or a glance, pupils cannot be consciously controlled. They expand and contract like shadows in response to light, emotions, and desire. This is why, for centuries, poets, lovers, and even interrogators have treated the eyes as windows to hidden truth. When a woman looks at a man she desires, her pupils may widen ever so slightly. The change is subtle, often no more than a fraction of a millimeter, but the effect is profound. Psychology shows that dilated pupils make a face look more attractive. The human brain is wired to interpret larger pupils as a signal of interest, warmth, and emotional openness. Without speaking, her eyes are already telling a story. But here is the darker twist. Pupils do not only expand in love, they react the same way to danger, fear, or manipulation. The body cannot tell the difference between arousal and alarm. It simply floods the nervous system with adrenaline, and the eyes reveal the surge. This means that what looks like desire could also be tension, fear, or even a calculated performance. Think about this. She looks at him across the room. Her pupils widen. He feels chosen, desired. But what if she knows this effect? What if she uses it to her advantage, leaning into low light or angled glances that exaggerate dilation, creating an illusion of longing? Psychologists call this pupil play, the deliberate use of lighting and eye behavior to trigger attraction in others. History offers chilling example. In Renaissance Italy, women secretly used a poisonous plant called belladonna to dilate their pupils, because men found the wide-eyed look irresistible. The word belladonna itself means beautiful woman. Yet, the same plant could blind or kill. Beauty and danger, locked in a single glance. Modern science confirms the same effect. Studies show men consistently rate women with dilated pupils as more attractive, even if they do not consciously notice the difference. It works below awareness, pulling at instincts rather than logic. The man might think he is simply drawn to her face, but what he is really responding to is the black mirror of her pupils. The danger lies in misreading the signal. Pupil dilation is not a clear confession of desire, it is a physiological response that can be manipulated. She may feel genuine interest, or she may be playing with perception. Either way, the man is caught in a psychological trap. His brain translates dilation as intimacy, his body reacts, and his judgment weakens. So when her eyes seem darker, deeper, almost pulling him in, he must ask himself, is this her body betraying a hidden attraction, or her mind using biology as a weapon? The look-away game. Sometimes, attraction is not revealed in the stare, but in the silence that follows. The moment when her eyes meet his, then quickly slip away, carries more meaning than 1,000 words. This is the look-away game, a hidden dance of attention and avoidance. At first glance, it feels simple. She looks at him, then looks away. But psychology reveals this is not random. The eyes retreat to create mystery, to leave him questioning. The brain craves what it cannot fully grasp, and that flicker of lost eye contact plants a hook deep inside the mind. For women, this move can be instinctive. Looking too long can feel unsafe, too exposing. So the look away is both a shield and an invitation. It says, I noticed you, but I will not let you own the whole truth yet. This tension, between showing interest and pulling back, creates a powerful psychological push and pull. Men often mistake this for shyness, but in reality, it can be a deliberate strategy. The look away does not erase the connection, it sharpens it. The brief break in eye contact leaves the man replaying the moment, searching for meaning. His mind fills the gap with imagination, and imagination is often more dangerous than reality. Consider this scenario. In a crowded room, she meets his gaze. For 2 seconds, her eyes lock into his, steady, unbroken. Then, gone. She turns to the floor, her phone, the wall, anywhere but him. His heart races. Was it attraction? Was it rejection? The not knowing binds him tighter than certainty ever could. Psychologists explain that this moment triggers the brain's reward system. Intermittent signals, glances that appear and disappear, create stronger bonds than constant attention. It is the same principle behind gambling addiction. The unpredictability of the win keeps the mind hooked. When she looks away, she is not ending the connection. She is feeding the mystery, training his brain to crave the next look. But here lies the darker side. The look away can also be a form of control. By deciding when the gaze begins and when it ends, she dictates the rhythm of attention. He becomes the one waiting, hoping, chasing. In this way, the smallest shift of her eyes can tilt the balance of power. Think of predators in nature. They lock eyes with prey, then look away, not out of weakness, but to confuse, to disarm. In human interaction, the same tactic can blur lines between play and manipulation. The man feels chosen, but also uncertain. Desire thrives in that uncertainty, and she knows it. The look-away game is not innocent. It is psychological chess, where the eyes become both the weapon and the shield. Each glance is a move, each retreat a strategy. So the next time her gaze slips away too quickly, he must ask, was that fear, shyness, or a silent invitation? Or was it a calculated step in a game designed to pull him deeper? Desire or illusion? The eyes may speak, but they do not always tell the truth. A glance can ignite hope, a smile can spark belief, and yet, desire is often tangled with illusion. The final question every man must face is this: are her eyes revealing attraction, or are they only creating shadows for him to chase? Psychology teaches us that humans are wired to see patterns, even when none exist. A man who longs for a woman will notice every flicker of her gaze, every widening of the pupils, every quick look away, and stitch them together into a story of desire. But sometimes, those signals are not about him at all. A wandering thought, a nervous habit, even the play of light in the room, his mind can twist any detail into evidence of what he wants to believe. This is the trap of projection. The brain does not see the eyes as they are, it sees them as it hopes they mean. That is why love can blind more than hatred ever could. The man convinces himself she is drawn to him, even when her eyes are only mirrors of her own world, unrelated to his presence. But here lies the dangerous edge. Women too know the power of this illusion. A well-timed look, a lingering gaze, or even the famous look away, can be used with precision, not always to reveal true desire, but to test, to control, or to keep someone close without full commitment. A glance can become a leash, invisible yet unbreakable, holding a man's thoughts long after she is gone. Consider a case study. A woman maintains steady eye contact with a colleague, softening her gaze in ways that suggest interest. He reads it as desire, builds fantasies around it, and changes his behavior toward her. Yet to her, the eye contact was only a social tool, a way to appear engaged, to hold attention, nothing more. His mind created fire where there was only smoke. This is how illusions are born, and illusions can be as destructive as reality. So how can one tell the difference? True desire is rarely built on one signal alone. It is the pattern, not the single glance, that reveals the truth. Eyes that seek him out again and again, pupils that expand in moments of closeness, looks that return even after being broken. These are threads that weave into a consistent fabric. Illusion fades under consistency. Desire persists. But the warning must be clear. To chase meaning in every look is to risk obsession. The eyes may whisper attraction, but they may also deceive. The mind that reads too much may fall into a trap of its own making, caught between truth and fantasy. In the end, the secret signs in a woman's eyes can reveal desire, but only if the man is willing to question his own vision. Does he see her, or only the reflection of his own longing? That answer decides whether her eyes hold love or illusion.